Welcome to Life Happens, where Texans come to protect their legacy and prepare for the second half of life. Join your host, attorney Kim Hegwood of Your Legacy Legal Care, and our weekly guest as we navigate the challenges that emerge as life happens. Now here's your host, Kim Hegwood.
Good morning and welcome to Life Happens with me, Kim Hegwood, and my very special guest today is Elaine Messarra. Good morning.
Good morning, Kim.
And so today we're going to talk about something a little interesting, and our title of our show today is When Caregivers Experience Grief While Caring for Someone with Dementia. And I know a lot of people don't think about grief while you're being the caregiver, but we're going to kind of delve into that. So is it normal for a caregiver to experience grief before someone actually passes away?
Kim, it is absolutely normal, and it happens more often than anyone would even realize. Because of the bond that the caregiver has with the patient, which is usually a relative or a very close friend. And it is heartbreaking watching the changes that someone with dementia goes through. So yes, the grief can start very early. And in fact, there's a clinical term for it. It's called anticipatory grief. And that's where the brain kind of goes to the worst case scenario. How will I handle this death? I won't be able to move on after this happens. And we start the grief early because we care for that patient.
And so that doesn't, ironically enough, it kind of doesn't surprise me. And considering, how much, that we in my law office, deal with people who are caregivers, and a bunch of us have been caregivers, during our lifetime. But what are the signs that a caregiver is grieving? How do you know what to look for to know how to help?
Well, that's a tricky question because the profile of the average caregiver is they're working a full-time job or they're working a part-time job. They have a family, they have children, they have grandchildren, and they're very busy individuals, and they're very good at hiding their symptoms just to be strong for their family. And so sometimes it takes a family member to really examine them. They're not acting normal. They are more withdrawn. They seem more preoccupied. They're not smiling as much. They're not as joyful. And then it could also be look at their sleep habits. When someone is grieving, when someone is sad, when someone is scared, they don't sleep well at night. And it can start long before someone has been officially diagnosed. Just the sadness you feel, and it gives that person a heavy feeling. So I would look for subtle changes in just the quality of their daily life. That's usually an indicator.
It's been a long time since my grandparents have passed, so I was listening to you thinking, here I was working full-time job, 50, 60 hours a week, making sure they were taken care of. I had 4 teenagers in the house. I laugh and tell people I had 4 teenagers, 2 dogs, 2 cats. So, the whole farm kind of thing. But I don't know that for me personally, thinking back, if I would have taken time to even think about it, because I was overwhelmed.
Yes.
And
yes.
So, it was just, I was constantly moving. There wasn't a time that you sat still. I was either working, taking care of the kids, making sure they were taken care of, shopping, taking them to the doctor, things like that. So I don't know that I would have had time, if you think about it, to even think about that sort of stuff. Did I know it was occurring? Yes. But it was one of those things that I think I probably was one of those that just pushed it in the back of my mind and didn't think about it. It's like, we don't want to think about it right now. We got other things to do. And so,
yes. And that probably is the way most caregivers present for many months. It's after a long period of time that the burnout, the pure exhaustion, the depression, all those symptoms are more obvious. But yes, in the first phases of caregiving, you're busy, and you're not even thinking about it. You're just in that rote mode of, I'm going to take care of this beautiful person.
Yeah. So how can we help that person that is a caregiver and they've started that grieving process? What kind of things can we do to help them?
I think be proactive and ask things such as, could I relieve you for a few hours so you can take a nap, or you can go to your own doctor visit, or what can I do to help you in your quality of life, or just to give you time to go have coffee with a friend. Something simple, something small could really mean a lot to that person.
I had a client one time that when she came in, I mean, you could tell she was exhausted. Um, and it was right before, she's trying to figure out whether to put him in a facility because she was wiped and you could see it. And so her daughter had come in with her, and I told her, I said, how long's a caregiver at the house? She said, 4 hours. I said, okay, you're going to spend 15 minutes with me, and then you have two options. You can go home and take a nap, or your daughter's going to drive you around until you fall asleep like a baby. And so the daughter's like, yes. So
very good.
And so because I find it's very difficult for caregivers to take, well, we know already, just experience and just the vast number of caregivers that I meet on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for them to take time for themselves. And because I've seen the toll it takes on caregivers to, taking care of that. I'm a huge advocate of taking care of yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's hard to do, but I'm a huge advocate. And so
I agree. Self-care is very important, especially for caregivers.
So do you think that that guilt plays a role in the grieving process at all?
Oh my goodness, yes. It magnifies everything bigger than life. And as humans, what do? We maybe guilt ourselves and say, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And we feel like, wow, we've missed the boat, and we just start feeling a heaviness in our heart that, man, I wasn't as present as I would have liked to be. And so I think guilt is a very normal human emotion, and I encourage people to own it. Yes, I wish I had done more, but to also look at their lives and say, I didn't have the time I would have liked to have spent with my loved one. But now I'm going to be very attentive. I'm going to be very present and make every day count, make every moment count, make your visits quality time. And if you can make that loved one smile or feel some joy or listen to some music together, that is beautiful. And that creates a beautiful memory.
Yeah. And so most definitely. So maybe you can kind of walk us through like an example of how you helped a dementia caregiver with their grief. Just kind of give our listeners a feel for what you do and how helpful you can be.
All right. I have them tell me what they're feeling, what they're thinking, what they're experiencing. And if they're stuck in the anticipatory grief phase, where they're really worried about the future, I encourage them to stay focused in the present, and let's take care of today's needs first. Take care of your health, take care of your loved one's health, and talk to family, talk to friends. I find that when family has a support group or a very special friend group, it helps that caregiver get some strength and get some motivation and encouragement. We all need to be propped up, but I think especially when we're in the grief stage already, and this is a heavy impending death that we're not looking forward to. No one looks forward to it. And then after they stay focused in the present, I encourage them to think about that day. What is a blessing that day? What is something you're grateful for today? And maybe share it with the loved one. Share it with your family. Say, today's a blessed day because we are all together. And reframing life in positive thoughts, simple positive thoughts. Those mean a lot, because when we're freaked out with anxiety and we're burdened with guilt, these little bright spots, it's like a breath of fresh air.
That I can appreciate. So,
Mm-hmm.
So, so in your practice, is it more for caregivers? Is it more of a working with caregivers that are experiencing grief, or do you with dementia? With caregivers with dementia in particular? Tell me who your best client is. What kind of clients do you think you benefit the most?
I think the cases where they're very complicated, like the dementia, because they're not only dying in their body, but their personality and their mind is going, their memory's losing, and they may not be acting like the mother that they remember or the daughter that they remember. And the caregiver experiences a loss of the relationship before they experience the loss of that life. And the roles have changed, that sometimes the daughter is now the mother. And you just feel so heartbroken when you see a loved one who can no longer be themselves or doesn't act the same, or they act more depressed than usual, or they're angrier than usual. And this makes grief more complicated when it's going on and after the fact, because there's so many emotions intertwined. And so I would say that the people with a mental illness or a cognitive decline like dementia, Alzheimer's, those caregivers are hit the hardest because they see so much and they experience so much. And usually it's drug out over a long period of time. It's not like, a month and it's over. Many people are in these long stages of dying for years. And you get to see the changes in the body and the mind, and it's heartbreaking.
That it is. And so, and I'm with you. I hear a lot of clients talk about the fact that, mom or dad is not the person that they, it's not the same person anymore. And I'm with you. I think grieving the loss of that relationship definitely is the first thing that occurs. And so, definitely. So, this has been great. How does someone find you if they want to talk and have you help them?
My email address, Elaine Messarra @gmail.com.
And so spell it for our listeners for me.
ELAINE MESSARRA @gmail.com.
Perfect. And so, Ms. Messarra, I just wanted to thank you so much for being on the show, because it's really such good information always to help our listeners, because we have a lot of clients that have these issues and could always use the help. And so we appreciate it immensely.
Thank you for inviting me, and it was a pleasure to be here, Kim.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Life Happens with Kim Hegwood. Be sure to tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. wherever you listen to your podcast as we navigate through the challenges that emerge as life happens. The content of this podcast does not establish an attorney-client relationship or constitute attorney-client privilege, legal, medical, financial, or any other professional advice.